So tonight is going to be one night to remember. This fight is going to be historical and legendary. I haven't been this excited for a Canelo Alvarez fight for nearly a decade. Even though Jermell the Little Charlo is moving up 2 weight divisions to fight Canelo Alvarez, this is still a better fight than majority of Canelo Alvarez fights, especially when Canelo was on his European tour, fighting the likes of the Smith brothers from Europe instead of the Charlo twins in the USA. So it's about time Canelo fought Charlo. Not the big Charlo, but the little Charlo. However, something is better than nothing when it comes to Canelo Alvarez, since the standards bar is set so low for Canelo Alvarez, even a midget can reach it. It took Canelo nearly a decade to fight one of the Charlo brothers, and the time is finally here. Without any further ado, my prediction goes as follows. Jermell Charlo is going to give Canelo Alvarez a hard time with his movement. Jermell excels on being able to move and punch at the same time, just like Bivol did against Canelo. The major difference between the two, though, is that Bivol is defensively responsible while doing so. However, Charlo leaves himself open at times. So the fact that Canelo Alvarez's feet are stuck in the mud. On the other hand, Jermell, he's able to move and he's always in position to punch while moving. That's going to give Canelo Alvarez a hard time against Jermell Charlo. I actually see Jermell Charlo winning a lot of rounds doing that against Canelo Alvarez, but the moment Jermell Charlo stops moving, because he's going to have to at some point, that's when Canelo Alvarez is going to do damage. When Jermell Charlo stands his ground, he usually leaves his weight on his front foot, which that's a recipe for disaster for Jermell to lean on his front foot while being in the pocket or mid-range against Canelo Alvarez. Here is the reason why. Canelo Alvarez is a master at countering and setting up his opponents for that right uppercut or even the left uppercut. If Jermell Charlo does what he did against Tony Harrison in the rematch, or Castano, and even Rosario, by leaning on his front foot a whole lot, especially in the pocket, he can expect an uppercut from hell coming from Canelo Alvarez. So hopefully for Jermell's sake, he worked on taking that away from Canelo Alvarez in training camp leading up to the fight. Now the way you take that away is bait Canelo Alvarez to throw an uppercut by doing that. Then throw a check hook off a pivot. That's how you take that away from Canelo Alvarez, by setting him up and countering the counter. Another thing you guys should be on the lookout for is when Canelo corners Jermell on the ropes. Canelo will do damage if Jermell stays there. So he better tie Canelo up or get his combinations off and get out of there before Canelo catches him with a left hook or an uppercut, even a right hand, a straight or a hook. What I'm trying to say is that Jermell can't afford to stay on the ropes to try to catch Canelo Alvarez punches when Canelo applies pressure. He has to move his head, clinch, or get out of there. Because if not, Canelo will impose his size and his power on Jermell Charlo. Jermell's gonna feel every bit of every pound Canelo Alvarez has on him under that scenario. Additionally, I see Jermell outboxing Canelo, but it's gonna be very important to see how well is Jermell varying his offense and his speed. Because if not, you can expect Canelo to come on top of Jermell's jab with an overhand right, kind of like Canelo did against Amir Khan, the way Castano was catching Jermell Charlo in their first fight. So the better Jermell varies his offense and his speed, the less he's going to get countered by Canelo Alvarez, and Charlo can be getting caught with punches he don't see coming, especially if there are counters coming from Canelo Alvarez. At this weight, it's only going to take a few of those from Canelo to get Charlo out of there. Another important thing that both fighters should do is feinting. That's going to set up the offense and you get to read what your opponent is going to do. So be on the lookout for all of that. More importantly, be on the lookout for Canelo Alvarez around the 4th, 6th, 8th, and 10th round to apply tremendous pressure on Charlo. Depending on how Jermell Charlo is going to handle the pressure, if he's going to panic or if he's going to be calm under the storm, that's really going to determine the fight. Therefore, I'm rooting for my countryman Jermell Charlo to pull off the upset. However, he's going up against too much, moving up two-weight divisions and coming off a hand injury. Now, the layoff and hand injury are not deal breakers to me because I think Charlo is going to be all right in that department. But moving up two-weight divisions to fight Canelo Alvarez, that's one hell of an obstacle to overcome. Jermell has to be way better than Canelo Alvarez skill-wise in order to pull this off. Jermell has to be on the level of Crawford and fighters on that level in order to beat Canelo under these type of circumstances. So I'm predicting that Canelo Alvarez is going to win either by decision or knockout. I wouldn't be surprised with either or. I believe Jermell Charlo is good enough to beat Canelo Alvarez only if they were in the same weight division. Not if he has to move up two-weight divisions, let alone having to fight the judges and the referee. We already know what comes with Canelo Alvarez. The only way Charlo can win this fight is by knockout or completely dominating Canelo Alvarez, because if he wins a close fight, like a 7-5 or 8-4, we already know Canelo Alvarez is gonna get an early Christmas present from the judges, like he always do. However, one thing for sure and two things for certain, Jermell Charlo is not going down without a fight. So this is gonna be one hell of a fight to remember. So go ahead and get your popcorns ready and order the pay-per-view on Showtime pay-per-view, since Charlo and Canelo are ready to rumble. That being said, go ahead and drop your prediction in the comment section below, subscribe below, and to be continued on the next episode of AKHi TV. Peace out. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.